thieves who thought they were unstoppable were finally brought to book. They struck repeatedly across the country, in total bagging around about £1.5 million worth of high-end jewellery. Well, now Matthew has the inside story of how painstaking detective work, cutting-edge technology and a sharp-eyed Crimewatch viewer all combine forces to put the gang behind bars.
Right, you get on the floor! Get on the floor!
Between 2005 and 2007, a gang of jewel thieves carried out a series of daring armed robberies across the country.
Quite a sophisticated team. On average, they were carrying out one robbery every 2 months. They were able to get in and out of the premises very quickly, sometimes in under a minute.
This is the story of how detectives from Hampshire used new forensic techniques and a call from a Crimewatch viewer to track the gang down and put them behind bars.
And it's just the 2 minutes robbery size?
Yes, please.
Let's have a look. Yeah. I think that's it.
Right, you get on the floor! Get on the floor!
The robber came towards me, pointing the gun in my face, and screamed at me to get down onto the floor.
Get on the floor! Get on the floor! Come on, move to the back!
I was terrified. It was obviously a very, very horrendous situation for everyone involved.
So!
Again and again they struck jewellers in all corners of the UK, from Hampshire to Yorkshire. And the gang would change their disguises from job to job. Sometimes it was fake beards, glasses and hats. On one occasion it was a postman's uniform, another full forensic suits. But once their appearance changed, one thing remained the same. They were always armed.
Get on the floor!
But during their first raid in Winchester, one of the robbers had left a vital clue.
Boss.
Okay, what have you got?
Found it, lovely.
We sent that glove for forensic analysis and found that it contained the DNA of a male. That DNA was matched on the DNA database to a male called Luke Aaron Nash.
Nash had been a serial offender since the age of 15 and had 19 convictions, mostly for theft and burglary, by the time he was 24. And crucially, he was from Birmingham. But Nash was not about to cooperate.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know nothing about it.
He refused to answer any of their questions. So, in the hope he'd lead them to the rest of the gang, police decided to let him go. Then, in October 2006, the robbers struck again in Lichfield. But, despite their meticulous planning, they couldn't get the cabinet doors open, and they left empty-handed. As a result, they made what turned out to be a crucial mistake. They decided to return to the scene of their first successful robbery, Jeremy France Jewellers in Winchester. But this time, Jeremy France was ready for them.
3 men came in all together. There was a staff member, there were 2 members of the public. The gun went straight onto them. I personally was up in the office and I hit the buttons.
Anti-bandit smoke flooded the shop, causing the robbers to panic and run back towards the door, where a special sprinkler system was waiting for them. The liquid it sprays is called smart water.
The liquid itself has a forensic fingerprint or DNA style identifier that allows us to put the criminal back at the scene of the crime, at the time of the crime.
If we located those people, we could positively link them, without any shadow of a doubt, to the Jeremy France robbery.
And that's where Crimewatch came in.
The jewel thieves who think they can get away with it time and time and time again. Well, let's prove them wrong at this.
And someone did. Just one phone call gave police the breakthrough that they needed. The viewer named 3 men, and all of them were from Birmingham. 37-year-old Elliot Burton, 28-year-old Simon Waller, and Luke Nash, the man whose DNA had been found in the glove after the first robbery. When they looked into the suspects further, they found that Elliot Burton had a history of shoplifting and stealing cars. And his longtime accomplice was none other than Luke Nash. With the link between Burton and Nash established, attention turned to the third man, Simon Waller. Officers had noticed that Waller resembled one of the robbers that they'd labelled the Flat Cap Man. But could they prove it was him? They enlisted the help of a facial recognition specialist.
There were some very persuasive similarities in terms of the overall appearance of his face, the musculature of his cheeks. In particular for me was the appearance of his nose and the way that effectively it turned up towards the point of the tip. We were able to go back to the police and say that there was good supporting evidence that they were one and the same person.
After 14 months of detective work, police were finally ready to make their move.
Get your hands in the small of your back! Get your hands in the small of your back! All right!
The houses of all 3 were searched for anything which might link them to the robberies. Nash and Burton were clean, but inside Waller's house, police struck gold. They discovered in a bag 53 items of the stolen jewellery. And inside an airing cupboard, another breakthrough. 2 handguns. But were these the weapons used in the robberies?
We analysed the 2 guns at the Smart Water laboratories, and we found that one of them was covered in smart water. We could prove and provide evidence to the police that actually that smart water could only have come from Jeremy France in Winchester.
The evidence against Waller was damning. Facial recognition had identified him, and he'd been caught red-handed with both stolen jewellery and the handgun. They could link Nash to the first Winchester job.
Come on, Luke, tell me about the glove.
His DNA was found at the burnt-out getaway car, but building a case against Burton was a lot trickier.
Listen, I don't know Simon Waller. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what you want from me. I ain't done nothing, all right?
But Burton's lies couldn't save him when this photograph was recovered from his laptop, showing the pair on very friendly terms. After an investigation lasting 14 months, detectives finally nailed one of the most elusive jewellery gangs the UK has ever seen. Nash was sentenced to 7 years for the first Winchester job, and Waller got 9 years for conspiracy to rob. Both men pleaded guilty. Unlike Elliot Burton. In the final weeks of his trial, Burton skipped bail and went on the run. But a month later, he handed himself in and was given a 12.5-year sentence. The robbers, who thought they were too smart to be caught, were now all finally behind bars.
What a story that was. Very strange that they went back to the scene of a previous crime, I think.
Yeah, big mistake. They just got too cocky. They were pulling off a raid every couple of months. They'd netted about $1.5 million. In one particular raid, they stole 87 luxury watches, Cartier, Rolex, top-end stuff worth 500 grand. But they got greedy. It was that classic thing. They figured in their mind that the original jeweller had probably restocked. He had, but he'd also got in all this new security stuff, and when they got there, they went for a real shock.
Yeah, what about the new security stuff? The forensic technology, fascinating.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It covers the criminal in this spray, and that has in it this unique forensic signature almost, which is specific to that exact location. Now, it's technology that's used in most of those security vans you see on the high street delivering cash, with supermarkets, with banks, with 40,000 churches across the country, the majority of the churches which use it to actually protect the lead on their roofs. You see, the dye in this spray is permanent, so if it crops up in ultraviolet cameras that they have in most police custody suites, then instantly the detective can link the criminal with the crime. So it is really, really clever, and it was really helpful here in actually nailing this reckless, dangerous armed gang, getting them off the streets. A real result.
Fascinating. Matthew, thanks very much. Well,